Hi guys, what's up? This is Metro. I played the Overwatch 2 Early Access for the last 7 days. I played on the release patch, which means all the changes, all the balance changes that are gonna be in the game on launch on October the 4th were in this patch, and I'm gonna rate every single hero, including Kiriko, based on their strength. The balance is gonna change rapidly, this is my opinion, but I think I have a pretty accurate picture on what's really strong and what's really weak. I'll go over everything and let's go. Ana, I would say decent up to A tier. Ana is a very solid main heal. Ana, I think, is one of the characters that functions really well with Kiriko. Anti is still a really good ability. Reason I kind of want to put her in B tier is because the Kiriko cleanse is a direct counter to Ana's anti and to Ana's sleep dart. So when you go up against the Kiriko, Ana is actually way weaker. So we'll see how the meta develops here. I think Ana is still a solid pick. I'll put her in upper B tier. Ashe, super solid hit scan DPS character, has been played in Overwatch League. If you didn't read the last patch notes, DPS now have a new passive. Every time you get an elimination, which means if you participate in a kill, you don't even need to get the last hit, you get a 25% movement speed bonus and reload speed bonus for like 2.5 seconds, I think it is. DPS got a really big buff, and Ashe is one of those characters that, you know, it's pretty easy to get a limb with if you just like burn someone with a Molotov cocktail, or if you just get a last hit. So Ashe really benefits from this because one of Ashe's greatest weaknesses is the reload speed. I think she's gonna be insanely solid. Almost want to put her in S tier. One of the best hit scans in the game right now. Batiste got a slight buff with the launch patch. He does a bit more damage with his primary fire. The issue with Batiste in Overwatch 2 is Immortality is an ability that is very stationary, and the game seems to run way more fluently. There's way more back and forward in Overwatch 2 because there's not as many shields, so the game is not as stationary. So I'll put Bap in the decent C tier. I might be completely wrong on this. He might turn out to be really good with the new damage, but I think he's up as C tier, C+. Bastion recently got a buff with the Iron Clawed, I think it's called passive, coming back. So he now gets 20% damage reduction in his turret form. The new Bastion kit is really cool. The main issue Bastion still has is he has a very big hitbox. So he's still really easy to kill. On lower ranks, I think he's gonna be insane. I think he's gonna be like A tier if you're like in plat and below. That being said, I think for high level play, I don't even want to put him in B tier because he's still gonna be easy to be killed. You know, he has a really big hitbox. I'll put him in a C+ here overall. Brigitte just got nerfed the Inspire duration, so her passive healing that heals the entire team in an AoE now lasts for a bit shorter. She has been meta in Overwatch League until now. If you've watched any Overwatch League, she's still a pretty solid character. Brig is Brig. She's always going to be pretty solid unless they nerf her to the ground. I'll put her in B tier. Cassidy is one of those heroes that doesn't really have a place in the meta right now, sadly, you know? In Overwatch 1, he has the stun, which is his main utility. He can shut down tracers, Genjis. He's very deadly close range. But in Overwatch 2, it got replaced with a Molotov cocktail that just does damage after a second of attaching. So he doesn't have the utility of the stun, and he really suffers from it. So I don't think in his current form he's any good. There's no reason to play a Cassidy over something like an Ashe. I'll put him in D tier. Sorry, Cassidy. Doomfist, again, if you've not played Overwatch 2 yet, is now a tank. He's not a DPS anymore. He was really strong on release, then he got slight nerfs. I think he's pretty solid. We might see metas with Doomfist. I think he's a solid tank pick. I don't think he's top of the line. I'll put him in B tier. D.Va just got a recent buff. Her boosters now do 25 damage instead of 10. So if you boost into someone, you get a quite significant damage increase. Her rockets have a shorter cooldown. She's really, really good. I talked to Flat. He played her, and the first game he played, it was like, wow, this is busted. I don't think she's completely busted. I think she will see play. She's definitely better now, but the main issue with her is still that she doesn't have any main tank ability. You know, she doesn't have a bubble. So after you run out of Matrix, she's kind of eh. So she's not the best at protecting a team compared to something like the Winston. I'll put her in A tier anyways. I think D.Va has a lot of potential. I think she's gonna be pretty fucking good. Sorry for the F word. Echo! Every character in one. Not a lot of changes going on with the character compared to Overwatch 1. Solid pick. Really good with the Mercy. Really good burst potential still. Solid low A tier, A-. Good character. Genji, S tier. Insane character. Has been insane since the start of Overwatch 2 beta. He was meta in the first season of Overwatch League. He has been meta in the GOATs, in the Junker Queen GOATs meta. He's deadly on close range. There's almost no stuns anymore, so he can do whatever he wants. He's insane. He's also one of the characters that benefits the most from the new DPS passive. So again, new DPS passive, more movement speed when you get a kill. So when Genji dashes in and he gets a kill, not only do you have a V-dash, you also have faster movement speed now, which is gonna make him insanely hard to kill. Once he pops off, he's gonna snowball really hard. Probably the best DPS in the game right now, in my opinion. He's insane. Hanzo. About snipers in Overwatch 2, a lot of people thought that snipers are not gonna be that good, or a lot of people thought they're gonna be really good because there's no shields anymore. I think Hanzo kind of fell off. Sorry, Hanzo. I'll put him in D tier. He's not the best close range unless you have storm arrows. And he's not the best long range anymore. And he can be shut down by dive very easily. He dies pretty easily. I just don't think he's very solid in the current meta. I don't think snipers are a thing. Unless it's like a really long range map like Havana or the new Circuit Royale. D+. D+. Still better than Cassidy, honestly. Junker Queen. Hard meta for the Junker Queen Goats meta. Was a must pick. Now her rallying call, her best ability that gives overshield to her and her allies, got nerfed very significantly. Again, I'll link the entire patch notes on the release patch below. She's definitely not hard meta anymore, and in playtesting, she seems like a pretty solid tank still, but I don't think she's gonna be like S or A tier. I'll put her in high B tier. She's still a really good tank. She still has a lot of playmaking potential, but again, her main ability, rallying call, way weaker for your allies, so she's good. She's pretty balanced. Junkrat. Junkrat, one of those heroes that is struggling in Overwatch 2. Mostly because he's very good at spamming chokes, right? Holding ground. But again, there's less shields. So the stationary gameplay of Overwatch 1 doesn't really exist anymore in Overwatch 2. And once Junkrat has to move around or hit people in an open field, he becomes way worse than a hit scan, for example. So all I can do is put Junkrat in D tier. Lucio. Hard meta in Junker Queen Goats again. Lucio always been a solid support character. Sound barrier is a really good ult. He's really mobile. His speed for his team is still going to be really beneficial. I think he's going to be insane in dive comms or rush comms with Reinhardt or Monkey. Definitely going to see a lot of play. I'll put him high A tier. Almost want to put him in S tier. Lucio is insane. New Mercy. Mercy got a ton of changes. Sorry, I hit my mic. I'm so sorry. Mercy got a ton of changes. The Guardian Angel is now way easier to use. You can still use it the old way like in Overwatch 1, but there's more movement abilities. I'm not a Mercy expert, but I know Mercy mains now kind of like Mercy again after all the changes. She seems really fluid to play now. She's really fun. Really high movement skill ceiling. And again, she's going to be a situational pick. I think she's going to be really good with characters like Ashe or Echo. Depending on what the meta is going to be, which I think is going to be dive. She's going to struggle in dive a bit, but I think she's still pretty solid. I'll put her B tier. Zenyatta got back to 200 HP. He used to be 225. He still has his kick, but again, Zenyatta is really vulnerable if he gets Doven. Like, he's really easy to kill. And the current meta, again, I think encourages a lot of movement, a lot of fast movement, a lot of dive, a lot of rush. I really hate to say this. I'll put him in C tier. High C tier. Moira is a very interesting character. On her own, she seems pretty weak right now. Probably the worst healer in the game, you know? She doesn't have the utility of Ana. She doesn't have the utility of Mercy. She doesn't have the damage of Zenyatta. She's just a heal bot in that sense. I think she's gonna be one of the best picks with Kiriko. I might be completely wrong on this, but Kiriko, with her teleport ability, can jump around a lot, and combine that with Moira, that is also really mobile with her shift. I think she's gonna be pretty good. Not on her own, but in combination with Kiriko. I will put her in high C tier, but I think we could see a meta where she's being played in dive together with Kiriko. I'm a DPS player, but this is the first time I really enjoy playing a support. I have like a ton of time on her right now. She's insanely high skill ceiling. She is by far the hardest support, harder than Ana, harder than Zenyatta. One of the hardest characters to master in the game. And here's where the issue is, right? I think all of us, including the highest level players, are gonna struggle to pick her up at the very start. Because again, the way she works is her damage only really does a lot if you hit headshots. But once you get down to hitting headshots, once you get her movement down, and once you get the timing of her cleanse down, which is a really short, tight window, she's gonna be insane. So I'm really struggling here because I want to put her in S tier. Because if you play Kiriko perfectly, she's gonna be absolutely insane. She does probably the highest damage output of any healer other than Zenyatta with a Discord, and so much utility, so much fast movement speed, and still decent healing. Probably the new best ultimate in the game. Kitsune Rush If you guys don't know what it does, it creates like a field of a field with a fox in front of you, and every character in that field gets like double the movement speed, double the fire rate, half the cooldown on all your abilities. What that means is, if you can buy Kitsune Rush with something like a Bastion or a Soldier, they're gonna shoot twice as fast, they're gonna deal double damage. We're getting to the territory where you can actually burst down people in Transcendence, for example. It's insanely good. It is such a good ult and so fun to use. If you want to see what happens when you combine it with something like a Bastion or a Soldier, click this video, just came out, and you'll see. Insanely high skill ceiling character. So I think all of you guys, including myself, I struggled hard to pick her up, to get decent at her. But once you get good at her, she's gonna be insane. She's gonna be insane. I'll put her in S tier. I think she's gonna be a really good character. Orisa recently got a buff. 50 more HP, I think, and her Javelin cooldown got reduced. Sadly, she's a really fun character in Overwatch 2, like no more shield. If you don't know about the rework, check out the Orisa rework in general. She's a new character now. Sadly, she still seems kind of weakish. She doesn't really protect the team as well. She doesn't have a bubble or a shield. So she's kind of struggling in the meta. I think she's better than before with the buffs. I don't see her being played a lot though right now still. Like, she's a really cool character, a really fun character in lower levels, but on high level, I think people will get bullied on her. Pharah has this one issue where she's only really good with Mercy, even in Overwatch 2. So unless we're getting into a meta where it's Pharah Mercy, and then a dive monkey and a Genji and a Lucio or something, which I don't see happening, I'll put her C tier. Almost want to put her D tier. She's just not that great in Overwatch 2. Reaper recently got a buff. His spread is now reduced. His spread angle got reduced, so he's really deadly close range. I only played him for like a game or so. He seems really good, not OP. I think he might see some play. I think on low level he's gonna be insane. High level, I don't know if he's gonna be meta. I'll put him in like mid C tier. Reinhardt? I don't know about Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt is gonna be a map dependent pick. I think he's way better now. He still needs a Lucio to function, or like some kind of speed boost. That being said, I think he has a lot of playmaking potential with Kiriko, in combination with Kiriko, because Kiriko can teleport away and to the Rhine and stay behind the shield. He can also teleport to the Rhine to save him if your Rhine charges into their backline, right? So if you're playing a monkey Rhine, I think Reinhardt is going to be really good with Kiriko. I'll put him in mid B tier. Roadhog, I hate the character, but on ladder, I think he's gonna be a very solid tank pick, sadly, because he's just a fat DPS. He still one-shots people. He's now basically unkillable. He has more HP than in Overwatch 1, but your teammates are gonna hate you because he doesn't provide any protection to the team. If you're insane at hooks, go ahead, pick Roadhog, but just know that your teammates are gonna hate you. In pro play, I don't see him being played that much, so on highest level, I'll put him in B tier. Sigma? Very solid tank. Sigma is just like one of those tanks that has a lot of utility. You have the grasp to eat projectiles, you have a shield you can put anywhere. He's very good at holding down chokes or long lanes. He's already being played in the latest patch in Overwatch League on maps like Circuit Royale. I think he's a very solid pick. A+ tier, almost S tier. Definitely one of the best tanks in the game currently, in my opinion. Sojourn used to be insane, got nerfed twice now. She's still really good. A tier. Very high skill ceiling hit scan / hybrid character. If you hit your railgun shots, she's insane. Insane mobility, insanely fun character. I fucking love her. Probably my second favorite character now after my main soldier. She's really good. Don't know if she's gonna be as good as Ashe in most situations now, but very solid character, very good. My boy. You know, if I put him in trash, then Cassidy also needs to be trash. Yo, Metro from the future here. Short update. I was wrong about a hero, and we're talking about my boy Soldier 76. So I initially put him in trash tier, and after playing the game for a bit more, I gotta say I was kind of wrong about him. Two things I learned. He's insanely good with Kiriko. Visor plus Kiriko ult is an insanely strong combo. That alone has like a lot of playmaking potential. But also he's one of the heroes that benefit the most from the new DPS passive. Getting kills, movement speed and reload speed increased. Soldier is insanely mobile. He's participating in a lot of Olymps. Actually really good for him. That combined with Kiriko being meta, I will move him from trash tier up to B tier. I don't think he's quite like super playable yet, but he's pretty solid and not complete garbage anymore. Sombra got another buff. This one is a very tricky one because I don't know yet. Haven't played enough Sombra. But now her hack that you can, by the way, in Overwatch 2 cast every 4 seconds, that gives your entire team wall hacks and gives more bonus damage to the target you hack. And now hacks targets or disables abilities for 1.75 seconds instead of 1. So it's kind of going back to the Overwatch 1 Sombra, and that's going to be really good against a tank, right? If you time the hack properly, you can shut down the tank in a lot of teamfights really well. She might be meta. I hope she's not, because don't get me wrong, I love Sombra, but I hate the Sombra playstyle where you're the tank on the other team and you just can't play the game because you're perma-hacked. She's really good now, I think. She's a really good character. Her new EMP has insane playmaking potential. It does a lot of damage. She's really good. Mid-A tier. Symmetra and Torbjorn. I know there's still Symmetra mains and Torb mains that love playing those characters. They're really cool, but they just don't function in Overwatch 2. Because they're both characters that were designed to hold ground, right? They have turrets that are designed to hold a specific point. Because Overwatch 2 is such a fast-moving game, the situations where you get a lot of value out of your turrets, both Torb turret and Symmetra turrets, just don't happen anymore. They just don't really have a place in the current meta. I think they're still fun characters. I think you can still make Torb work on lower level. They need reworks, Blizzard, in my opinion. They need reworks. Those two heroes and Roadhog are the only heroes in Overwatch 2 where I feel like they don't really fit the game. Roadhog is just a fat DPS, he's not a tank, so he should be reworked. I don't know what they should do about them, but yeah, they're trash. Tracer! Solid A tier. Tracer got a nerf from Overwatch 1 compared to Overwatch 2. Almost no stuns anymore. Her main shutdowns in Overwatch 1 were Flashbang and Brigitte stun. Both of those abilities don't exist anymore. She can do even more in the backline, even though she deals a tiny bit less damage. She's really, really good if you're really skilled at her. If you're not really skilled and you miss a lot of pulse bombs, she's gonna be kind of weak. But this is for highest level. If you are a good Tracer, you can hard carry on the character. She's really solid. Widowmaker, same page as Hanzo. Not quite as bad. I almost want to put her in like higher C tier, because she will have a few maps where she's gonna be meta. Havana, long sightlines. Circuit Royale, long sightlines. On very long range maps or very long range points, she's gonna be insane. But again, as soon as you get to points where closing the distance to her is going to be kind of easy, then fast characters like Lucio, Genji, Tracer, Kiriko, Monkey, Diva will just roll her over and she won't get any value out of her, even if you have insane aim. So she's going to be a very map dependent pick. She's definitely not going to be strong on every map, but on the maps that are long range, she's going to be insane. I'm going to put her in C because she's solid on some and really useless on others. Winston! I call it here. I'm gonna die on this hill. I think Winston is gonna be the best tank in Overwatch 2. He has the bubble that protects his team. He can initiate. I think Dive is gonna be nuts with Kiriko. Kiriko and Winston can play together because Winston can jump in. Kiriko can teleport in behind him. You know, Winston can jump out and Kiriko can get out behind him. He's gonna have insane playmaking potential. And now that Junker Queen is kinda dead or not as playable anymore, he's gonna be the tank to initiate. I think Dive is gonna be nuts in Overwatch 2, especially with the Genji. Imagine if a Genji and a Winston jump you at the same time, and then you have a Kiriko teleporting in behind them, cleansing them, you know, in case someone is sleeping or antied. It's gonna be insane. Ooh, Wrecking Ball. Got a really big nerf with the latest patch, because now his passive, or his, what is it called, his overshield, gives ult charge, so he's gonna give way more ult charge to the other team. I just don't think he's very good. Again, he has the same issue that Orisa has, in the sense that, yeah, he can create space, but he doesn't have any protection for the team. In Overwatch 2, there's only one tank, right? So you, as the tank, need to kind of protect your team. And unless you hit like a big pile drive and get the other team to like spread out or focus you, he has a very hard time protecting his team, protecting his healers. That's why I think he's kind of in a limbo right now. Mei! Actually, I do think a lot of people don't like the new Mei because she doesn't freeze people anymore. But I think the new left click is even better. It slows them and it deals like a good amount of damage. So if you wall people off now and you slow them, they'll die even faster than whereas before in Overwatch 1 you would have frozen them and then you would have killed them. Mei is actually quite solid. Again, I think it's going to be map dependent. She's going to be good in like tight chokes where you can get a lot of value out of your wall. I think she's pretty solid in Overwatch 2. I think she's a great character and definitely not as frustrating to play against anymore because, again, she doesn't freeze people. Zarya, last patch, completely useless. Now I kind of want to rate her really high. I think Zarya, highest damage output in the game for a tank, probably, if you get your charge up. Has 2 bubbles now that you can use on yourself or your allies. You have a really good amount of protection. Graviton Surge is still an insane ult. I think she's gonna have a lot of playmaking potential, and she might be a good hero in Rush. I think she's gonna be very solid. The one thing I want to mention for tanks, I think they're gonna be map dependent, and that's what I really like about Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1. I think the meta is gonna revolve around maps anymore, and I think more tanks will be viable than what we had in the last patch where it was only Junker Queen. Again, the meta is gonna shift really fast in the first like few weeks because it's a new game, it's a new patch. People have very little clue of what's good right now unless you're like Overwatch League. Let's see how this tier list holds up. I think it is pretty accurate. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this somewhat informative. If you like these kind of series, let me know in the comments, and it might be like a thing I do every season if you want, because the devs also announced they're gonna put out a really big balance patch every season to make every season feel unique and fresh. So hopefully we'll have lots of balance talk in the next few months. I'm super excited to play Overwatch 2. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.